Hey there, parents and families. My name is Andrew Hoffman. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about the parental role in the college admissions journey. What to do, what not to do, and how to set your student up for success. So let's dive in. Let's start with the positive. As parents, you play a critical role in your student's journey towards college. Here's what you should focus on. Provide financial guidance and assistance when possible. Unlike most countries around the world, the US system expects parents to contribute to their children's education costs until they turn 25 years old. And at minimum, you must supply your financial and tax information to the federal and state government so that they can determine your student's financial need. But beyond that, having open and honest conversations about financial aid and your family's ability to pay is really critical at this juncture. So start talking about financing college and loan options and scholarships. You don't want to start too early, thereby limiting your student's options early on in the process, but you also don't want to start this conversation too late where your student might be missing scholarship deadlines. So be sure to balance that out. Second, help with organization. Assist your student with staying on top of deadlines for essays and financial aid forms and applications. As I've recommended in other videos, think about an organizational system that works for you and your family. That might be developing a Google Sheet that everyone shares or pulling out a notebook every Sunday afternoon for the college conversation. And your student might have their own organizational system as well. Either way, I think it's important to share these resources so that you're not constantly asking for updates. You're there to help guide them, not take over this process. So just keep that in mind. Third, offer emotional support. This can be a nerve-wracking experience, exhilarating, stressful, exciting, and sometimes that happens all on the same day. Try to be your student's cheerleader and be a calming presence in their life when things get really stressful and overwhelming. Encourage independence. While it's tempting to step in, have your student take the lead. This is their journey, and fostering this independence now will really assist them in college. And now let's talk about what not to do as a parent in this process. Even the most well-intentioned actions can lead to unnecessary stress for your students. Before I give you specific examples, I think it's important to consider your student's context and lived experience up until this point, right? They have your home that might include yourself, your spouse, or other adult family members, possibly siblings, cousins, grandparents. You have your neighborhood, and I'll give you the example of Mr. Johnson always asking where your student might be attending college in the fall, and that can certainly lead to stressful experiences. And then there's school, where inevitably your student is talking to their friends and peers about college. Now, I've stepped into essentially every type of high school in America, from under-resourced high schools in city centers, to farm country, to the true pressure cookers of suburban society. Think about Silicon Valley, or the Research Triangle of North Carolina, or the Philadelphia Main Line, right? Teachers, counselors, students, administrators, everyone can add a lot of pressure depending on that type of school. And finally, there's social media. Constant Instagram reels, TikTok, and YouTube videos. First it was, how do I act? How do I look? What are the pressures of sort of fitting into this society and seeing that reflection within social media? And now college has entered the picture. So my best advice is to stop, breathe, and think about this context when interacting with your student about this process. I hope that gives you some new perspectives or ways of thinking. And now on to the list of recommendations. First, don't micromanage the process. Resist the urge to complete essays or fill in applications for your students. Admission officers can tell when things are not completed by students, and this is really not going to serve your student well in college. Second, don't talk about college nonstop. Constant conversations and questions around college can lead to more stress and anxiety for your students. Set some boundaries for your family so that it doesn't dominate every single conversation. I've seen some families say, on Sunday afternoons from noon to 2 p.m., that's our college day, that's our college conversation. And so they pull out their organizational notebooks or spreadsheets and have a conversation that day. All the other days are off limits. Especially senior year, when you're thinking about everyone coming over for Thanksgiving or the holidays, have a conversation with family members before then, and be sure to encourage them not to ask about college. Third, don't project your own preferences. I have seen this too many times to count when a parent or family member is on a campus tour and they're looking around saying, wow, I wish I could go here. That is reasonable, and I am not saying that that is wrong, but this is your child's journey. This is your student's journey toward college, and maybe your preferences don't align with your students, and that's completely okay. Be sure to be there so that you can help guide your student, but not necessarily toward your own preferences. Don't compare your student to others. Avoid comparing student journeys against their peers. This includes older siblings or cousins or neighbors. Every path is unique, and I think these comparisons can really erode your student's confidence. Number 5, don't set unrealistic expectations that almost no student can meet. If you go to Reddit in the month of March, you will find a number of heartbreaking stories from students who talk about the pressure that their parents placed on them. Things like, I didn't get into an Ivy and now my parents are really angry at me. Or, I got into a number of Ivies, just not that Ivy. I didn't grow up in a household like this, so sometimes it can be difficult for me to place myself in their shoes and understand that. But I have worked with a number of students who come from families or contexts like this. Celebrate your students when they get into college, when they get that scholarship, or even when they complete that essay. Your student needs you to be their anchor, not their captain. So be sure to guide them towards support, but allow them to take the reins. Finally, let's talk about how to set your student up for success. Preparation is key, and there are a few things that you can do to empower your student. Encourage strong academics. Support them in getting good grades and maintaining a rigorous course selection, but also allow them to pull back or drop less important commitments when things get overwhelming. Promote extracurricular involvement. Help them explore their interests and leadership opportunities, and try to do this as early as you can in high school and allow them to try different things. Practice communication skills. Admission interviews, recommendation requests, and writing essays all require strong communication. Discuss realistic expectations. Help your student create a balanced list of reaches, targets, and likely schools. If you need more information about this, I actually did a video a while back about building a balanced college list, and you can take a look at that now. By focusing on preparation and empowering your student to take charge, you're really instilling confidence and resilience for your student in the future. To wrap up, your role in the college admissions journey is all about balance, guiding without overstepping, supporting without overwhelming, and preparing without pressuring. With the right approach, you and your student can have a really positive experience on this college admissions journey. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Please be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel so that other parents can find me and you can receive more admission tips. In the next video, I'm going to be covering paying for college, things like scholarships and loans and grants. And if you want to watch that video now, you can click the link above. Good luck, and I hope to see you on the next video.